Thanks for joining us. I'm Austin Dave. Today we bring you the Signal News Brief from an area hit hardest by the latest El Nino-driven storm. With all the calamity, car crashes, and damage, we turn to Austin Westfall.
A flash flood watch and high wind warnings were in place as harsh weather lashed the Santa Clarita Valley Sunday. Reports of dozens of traffic collisions and damaged property came in throughout the day, perhaps the largest being this towering pine tree, which crashed across Newhall Avenue, bringing power lines down with it. No injuries were reported, but at least 655 residents lost power around the time of the incident.
A Newhall Elementary school was placed on lockdown this morning as sheriff station officials investigated threats posted to social media. The threats were allegedly made by a student who was reprimanded for bringing a knife to school. Deputies and school officials deemed the threat to be non-credible. A child is back in the custody of her grandmother after she was abducted by her mother last week. London Brown was reported missing at about 10 p.m. Thursday night when sheriff's officials say she was taken from her legal guardian's home in Canyon Country.
The biological mother, who has a history of drug use, showed up at the house last night and removed the little girl from the grandmother's house.
24 hours later, the 8-year-old girl was safely returned in good condition. And Santa Clarita's homeless population is now accounted for.
And we found a number of tents down in there, and we actually encountered like 29 people.
130 volunteers hit the streets to update the local census.
Did a pretty good count of how many people and how many tents and how many makeshift shelters we found. Okay, and now that all goes into this database, and hopefully we get a much more accurate count that way.
Davis says the results of the survey will help determine the resources that come to the area to help combat homelessness.
We do other programs like the one called Coordinated Entry System, where we actively go out, meet the people, sit down, do a survey, a very detailed survey with them to try to find out what the issues are, what the barriers are to getting them and keeping them in housing, and what we need to do to start moving them along.
That does it for us today. For all of my colleagues at Signal Multimedia, I'm Austin Dave. Thanks for joining us.